Lahat ng drama, lahat ng tawanan, lahat ng iyong all-time hits. Ang tanging huntahan ng Masang Lamaw. Number 1 sa Mega Manila, nationwide pa. Broadcasting from TGON, TVH Group of Networks. Dito lang sa inyong iisang himpilan. Cool FM. You are listening to Cool FM. Live from Cool Studios. This is Cool News at Noon.
Good afternoon and welcome to Cool News at Noon. I'm Cairo. All police units are mandated to respond to 911 emergency calls within 3 minutes based on a directive issued by Philippine National Police Chief General Romel Marbel. Marbel made the announcement on Sunday through a statement as part of the PNP's efforts to enhance public safety and ensure that the most vulnerable persons will receive police assistance. Every Filipino deserves quick and efficient police response, regardless of their location or status, he said. The revitalized 911 hotline is not just a technological improvement. It is a crucial component of our mission to make every community feel secure and supported by the PNP, he noted. The Relief Department of Interior and Local Government's DILG Emergency 911 Service replaced Patrol 117. In the new system, Marbel highlighted the importance of PNP's preparedness in responding to emergencies. Our citizens rely on us during emergencies, and we have to ensure that every 911 call is met with the swift and effective response it deserves, he said. This directive is more than just a procedural requirement. It reflects our unwavering commitment to serve and protect the Filipino people, ensure peace and safety across the nation, the PNP top official added. Moreover, he urged the public to use the 911 service responsibly. Despite the political noise about poverty in the country, the government remains on track to attain single-digit poverty rate by 2028, Finance Undersecretary Domini Velasquez said on Saturday. Despite political incredulity at poverty data released by the Philippine Statistics Authority last week, what's important here is that we're on track, said Velasquez, Chief Economics of the Department of Finance. By the end of President Marcos' administration, it will be below 10% and in single digits. We are actually on track to bring down poverty to single digits, she added, citing the country's economic fundamentals over the past few years. Except for 3 years, 1998, 2009, and 2020, the Philippine economy has been growing consistently over the past 30 years. In the past 10 years, the average growth clip was at 4.86%, including the 9.5% contraction in 2020, or 6.42% excluding 2020. For the first half of 2024, preliminary data showed economic growth of 6.3%, surpassing Malaysia 5.8%, Indonesia 5%, and China 4.7%. The Philippines is now the second fastest growing Asian economy next to Vietnam, 6.9%. Velasquez said the country accomplished this through increased government spending and investments despite weak consumer spending. Velasquez noted that investor confidence has not waned despite the growing political noise. Investors are able to differentiate economic versus political issues, she added. Velasquez cited the country's recent credit rating upgrade from Japan's largest credit rating agency, Rating and Investment Information Incorporated, R&I. R&I upgraded the Philippines' credit rating to A- with a stable outlook from BBB+ last year. At present, the Philippines holds an A- rating from the Japan Credit Rating Agency, BBB from Fitch Ratings, Baa2 from Moody's Ratings, and BBB+ from Standard & Poor's Global Ratings. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., who was criticized for his investment promotion trips in the first year of his presidency, was beside himself in his social media accounts. Although this is the first credit upgrade under my administration, we will not stop here. We will keep giving our best to make sure that every Filipino benefits from economic growth until we break the cycle of poverty, Marcos said. He said the improved investment rating will help us bring down borrowing costs and secure cheap and affordable financing for the government, businesses, and ordinary consumers. We can use the money that we save to fund different public services like infrastructure, health care facilities, and the construction of classrooms for our learners. This will help us invest more on our people, paving the way for more Carlos Yulos in the near future, he said, referring to the 24-year-old star gymnast who bagged 2 gold medals in the Paris Olympics. The president added that the improved credit rating will also entice more investments and businesses to set up shops in the Philippines, leading to the creation of many quality jobs and higher pay for Filipinos. Even the World Bank, in its 2022 report overcoming poverty and inequality in the Philippines, recognized that the country has made strides in reducing poverty. The Philippines has made significant progress in reducing poverty, but income inequality has only recently begun to fall. Thanks to high growth rates and structural transformation, between 1985 and 2018, poverty fell by two-thirds, the WB said. The WB said income equality did not begin to decline until 2012, and the top 1% of earners capture 70% of national income, while the bottom 50% only gets 40%. The National Security Council over the weekend said the passage of the Archipelagic Sea Lane Bill and the Philippine Maritime Zones Bill would be crucial in enhancing the country's national security and territorial integrity in the face of Beijing's sweeping claims in the South China Sea. The approval of the ASL at the Senate came weeks after both houses of Congress rectified the pre-council versions of the Land Maritime Zones Bill, which defined the extent of Philippines' waters. Both are priority measures of the Marcos administration. The Maritime Zones Bill is now waiting for the president's signature, while he is also expected to sign the ASL once it reaches his desk. In the statement on Friday, the NSC would set the ASL and Maritime Zone bills would set our archipelagic house in order by aligning domestic legislation with the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. The NSC stressed the National Task Force West Philippine Sea recognizes the strategic importance of maritime legislation, which will bring attention to the proper scope of the Philippine maritime domain and the need for strategic investments. The NSC added this would reinforce the Philippines' ability to govern the waters within its sovereignty, sovereign rights, and jurisdiction. Senate Majority Leader Francis Tolentino, principal author of the ASL bill, said designing ASL would solidify the country's maritime domain and prevent arbitrary passage in the Philippine archipelago by foreign vessels and aircraft. We will be able to better monitor the movement of foreign vessels and aircraft and ask them to leave should they pose a threat to our peace and order and national security, Tolentino said. And the Court of Tax Appeals has granted the petition of Petron Corporation to reclaim a total of 69.6 million pesos in excise erroneously paid in 2018 for the importation of athlete, a component used to blend and produce cleaner gasoline. In an August 14 decision, the CTA ruled the payment of taxes for the athlete imports Petron used for its manufacture of fuels was erroneous and illegal, as the compound is not categorically subject to Section 148E of the National Internal Revenue Code. In granting the petition for review filed by the oil company, the tax court directed the Bureau of Internal Revenue to refund or issue tax certificates in the amount of 34.5 million pesos, representing the import duties in January and April 2018. For another round of import taxes in May and July 2018, the BRR is directed to refund 35.05 million pesos. Considering that ambiguities in tax laws should be construed against the government and in favor of taxpayers, the provision at issue should be interpreted as not imposing taxes on athlete, the 40-page decision read. The law identified the taxable manufactured oil and other fuel, such as naphtha, regular gasoline, and other products of distillation, as well as aviation turbojet fuel, bunker fuel, kerosene, liquefied petroleum gas, and asphalt. The CTA rejected the argument of beer that athlete is covered by the tax code, saying the substance cannot be considered a direct product of distillation, similar to the other taxable oil and fuel. The use of distillation for purifying athlete does not necessarily make the substance a direct product of distillation, it said. Citing a 2023 decision by the Supreme Court, the tax court Also noted that acrylic is exclusively intended for use as a raw material or blending component for the production of unleaded premium gasoline. In the said SC ruling, acrylic is described a mere component which can be blended into finished gasoline to help meet the specification requirements, particularly those related to octane quality and volatility. The CTA said as the intended use and nature of acrylic differ greatly from those of naphtha and regular gasoline, the former cannot be placed under the same category as the latter two substances. It is now 12:12 in the afternoon and Cool News at noon. We'll be right back. Stick around. Welcome back to koolNews at noon. Let's get into the international headlines now as crowds of Indian doctors dressed in white coat came as if ready to work on Saturday but instead stood outside hospitals demanding justice after the rape and murder of the colleague. We just want to be safe while we are doing our duty, said Sapna Rani, a 27-year-old woman doctor in the capital New Delhi who took part in the 24-hour nationwide strike by medics. The hospital is the last place where we should have to worry about our safety. The killing of the 31-year-old doctor, whose bloody body was discovered on August 9 at a state-run hospital in the eastern city of Kolkata, has focus reached at the chronic issue of violence against women. At Delhi's Ram Manohar Lohia Public Hospital, usually one of the capital's busiest, Randi said the doctor-to-patient ratio was so abysmal that shifts often lasted 36 hours. And after that, there is no proper place to rest, she said, describing how doctors took breaks in wheelchairs and stretchers. The murdered doctor in Kolkata was found in the teaching hospital's seminar hall, suggesting she had gone there for a break during a 36-hour-long shift. Hospital security staff say that they regularly witnessed violent behavior by angry patients and relatives who would run out of patients, waiting for hours in long queues in the heat. Just the other day, an angry relative of a patient slapped a female guard, said Gopal Bisht, a security supervisor at Delhi's Lady Hardinge Hospital. The usual busy hub of patients was replaced by protest chants on Saturday. Women doctors held up placards outside hospitals, chanting slogans demanding justice. Male colleagues joined in. The gruesome nature of the attack has invoked comparisons with the horrific 2012 gang rape and murder of the young woman on the Delhi bus. It has sparked widespread outrage in a country where sexual violence against women is endemic. An average of nearly 90 rapes a day were reported in 2022 in the country of 1.4 billion people. The wider public has also marched in several cities this week, including at a candlelight midnight rally in Kolkata. Doctors say the protests are also to highlight systematic issue plaguing India's overstretched public health care infrastructure. Such issues, the protesting doctors said, compromise the safety and security of healthcare workers. Doctors working in public institutions say that violence against healthcare workers has become so commonplace that people have become desensitized to it. Verma, age 24, a doctor in training at a state-run hospital in Delhi. Violence and molestation is an everyday affair, she said. Her senior, a 21-year-old gynecologist, Akansha Yagi, said it was deplorable that it took the life of a doctor for people to take notice. Firefighters were battling a strong forest fire in Turkey's Karakan city of Izmir for a third day on Saturday, the AFP reporter said, a day after hundreds of local people in nearby villages had to be evacuated. Firefighters said they had partially beaten back the flames that have been threatening the port city over the last 3 days, although fires were still burning in the nearby forests. In the northern suburb of Oknikoy, AFP journalists saw the charred remains of several buildings and vehicles in an industrial zone while gray smoke billowed into the sky. We don't know what to do. Our workplace is located in the middle of the fire. We have lost our livelihood, said 48-year-old Hanife Erbil, who earns a living collecting paper and plastic waste. The pine trees that once crowned the surrounding hills were also burned. It was such a beautiful route. It smelled like of pine trees everywhere. It makes me want to cry, said taxi driver Roy Han. The smell of smoke was hanging over the city, the third most populated in Turkey. Firefighters from other Turkish cities have been sent as reinforcements and the army has been mobilized. Everyone is working hard. I am on my 36-hour service. We can say the fire is partially under control, said Izmir firefighter Arjun Erol. The Thai king on Sunday formally appointed Paetongtarn Shinawatra, 57-year-old daughter of controversial billionaire ex-premier Thaksin, as Thailand's new prime minister. Paetongtarn, the kingdom's youngest ever prime minister, comes to office after a court sacked the previous premier and disbanded the main opposition party, throwing Thailand's ever real political scene into a new round of turmoil. She is the third Watra to be prime minister, but will hope to avoid the fate of her father and Aunt Yin Luck, both of whom were thrown out of power in military coups. Petontarn received King Maha Vajiralongkorn's official written comment to form a government in a ceremony at the headquarters of a former pro-Thaksin TV station soon after 9:30 a.m. Thaksin, age 75, was a prominent attendee at the ceremony, standing alongside Pat Dongtarn's husband in the front row. She heads a coalition government led by her Peltai party, the latest incarnation of the political movement founded by her father in the early 2000s, but including some pro-military groups long opposed to Kasin. Her elevation to the top job came after the kingdom's constitutional court sacked previous premier sorry, Shertavisin on Wednesday for breaching ethics rules by appointing a cabinet minister with a criminal conviction. Thailand has been dominated for more than 20 years by a tussle for dominance between Thaksin and his allies and the kingdom's conservative pro-military royalist elite. Parties linked to the former telecoms tycoon and one-time Manchester City owner have repeatedly won elections, only to find the governments upended by coups and court rulings. Patton Thorne is a relative newcomer, running the hotel arm of the family business until late 2022 when she entered politics ahead of last year's general election, where Paul Thai was unexpectedly beaten into second place by the upstart Progressive Move Forward party. After being approved by lawmakers on Friday, Patton Thorne acknowledged her lack of experience, but said she was ready to take on the challenge of improving the quality of lives and empowering all Thais. A senior Hamas official on Saturday dismissed optimistic talk by U.S. President Joe Biden that a Gaza truce is nearer at the negotiations in the Gulf Emirate of Qatar. To say that we are getting close to a deal is an illusion, Hamas political bureau member Sami Abu Zuhiri told AFP. We are not facing a deal or real negotiations, but rather the imposing of American diktats. He was responding to Biden's comment Friday that we are closer than we have ever been. Biden spoke after 2 days of talks in Qatar where Washington tried to bridge differences between Israel and Palestinian military group Hamas, which have been at war for more than 10 months in the Gaza Strip. Previous optimism during months of on-off trade talks has proven unfounded, but the stakes have risen significantly since the late July killings in quick succession of Fuad Shukar, a top operations chief of Lebanon's Iran-backed Hezbollah movement, and Hamas political chief Ismail Haniyeh. Their deaths problem promises of retaliation from Iran and Hezbollah and fears of a wider Middle East war. Trying to avert a broader conflict, Western and Arab diplomats have been shuttling around the region to push for a Gaza deal, which they say could help avert a wider conflagration. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is headed back to the region this weekend in a bid to help seal a deal. Hamas officials have objected to new conditions from Israel in the latest proposal drawn up by Washington. Israel's delegation expressed cautious optimism about the prospects for an agreement after returning from Doha, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said Saturday. There is hope that the heavy pressure on Hamas from the United States and mediators will lead to the removal of their opposition to the American proposal, potentially allowing a breakthrough in the negotiations, it said. In a joint statement, the foreign ministers of Britain, France, Germany, and Italy urged all parties to engage positively and flexibly in the negotiations. We underline the importance of avoiding any escalatory action in the region, which would undermine the prospect for peace, they added. There is too much at stake. And finally, Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky said Saturday his forces were strengthening their positions in Russia's Kursk region, where Kyiv has been mounting a major ground offensive for more than 11 days. His comments came a day after Moscow accused Ukraine of destroying a key bridge over a river in the border region, as Kyiv seeks to disrupt supply routes and the movement of Moscow's troops in the area. Ukraine Army Chief Oleksandr Syrskyi reported on the strengthening of the positions of our force in the Kursk region and the expansion of stabilized territory, Zelensky said in the post on Telegram. As of this morning, we have relinquished the exchange fund for our country, Zelensky said, referring to Russian soldiers Ukraine has captured to be used in future prisoner swaps. The operation is proceeding exactly as we expected, the Ukraine leader said in his evening address. Kyiv claims to have taken control of more than 80 settlements, including the key town of Zhezha, a designing incursion, which caught the Kremlin off guard almost 2.5 years into its full-scale invasion of Ukraine. The Russian Defense Ministry said Saturday it had pushed back Ukraine forces near 3 settlements in the Kursk region and was searching for mobile enemy groups trying to press deeper into the country. And that is it for koolNews at noon. As always, you can get in touch with us at tvh.philippines.news@gmail.com. And we will continue delivering the latest news headlines later with koolNews at 4, 6, and koolNews Prime Time at 9. Until then, I'm Caro. Good afternoon.